Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lexicon Crypto. We're excited that you are here. We have wonderful guests today and a wonderful show planned for you. Today in our virtual studio, we have Eric McHugh. He is the founder and CEO of SHOPX, an exciting new platform that is burgeoning into the Web3 space. And I'm going to let him tell you a lot more about that and a lot more about the projects that he is working on. But before we do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on every major platform for podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify. I think that we have a list of probably over 30 different platforms in which we are listed in and are building a subscriber and listener base every day. So we're excited for you to join us along the journey here, and hope that today's episode is enlightening for you, encouraging, inspiring. I think anytime we get to talk to builders of great things, it's always super inspiring for everyone. So we're excited to have Eric with us in the studio. Eric, thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us. And man, I look forward to the conversation.
Hey, Andrew. Nice to meet you. My name is Eric. Really appreciate you having me on. Like you mentioned, I'm one of the founders of SHOPX and I'm the chief growth officer there. 29 years young, live in beautiful Los Angeles. My prior experience was I went to school at the University of California, Irvine. After that, I traveled abroad, did some work in DC, work in Barcelona, Spain. And my first real job was at Snap Inc., helping with their ad algorithm optimization. Nice. And the reason I chose that specifically is it was a short-term role, but I joined right before the IPO because I wanted to see what the pre and post IPO was after that. That was pretty fun, honestly. Location was great, Venice Beach. From there, I worked as a bankruptcy consultant for a company called KCC. And that's a fancy term for saying you manage the debt between a Fortune 500 company, the people they owe, and the firms that are paying them. Yeah. And that helped kick off my start in crypto because I saw exactly how much money was wasted. For example, at that company, my incentive was to bill out hours versus do good work. So then I started doing the deep dive into crypto.
Right. No,
from there, I went down the entrepreneur route, helped found a social commerce platform called CartRev. And what that did, it replaced affiliate codes. So as a Shopify brand, you could upload all your products to a singular platform. You could set a discount, you could set a commission, and then any user, whether it's your customer or another brand's customer, could be like, oh, I like this Nike shoe. I like this Supreme hoodie. I like this coffee cup. And then you could add all three products to one link. And then the customer and then you could sell any of your products to future customers. You get the commission, brand gets to sell, customer get the product, and everyone's happy.
Nice.
At its hype, that had over 100 Shopify brands actively using that. And that led into my role at SHOPX, which is the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 for brands. Awesome. I'm happy to go into more detail as the conversation goes.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's so interesting to me how when you're in the journey of these experiences, like what you just described to me, right? Like going from Snap to bankruptcy, a firm to, other things that you just mentioned, right? Like it's so interesting that when you're in those things, you can't see where totally all the time, like where you're going or how you're going to get there. But what I found, and I'm sure what you can speak to here, is all of those experiences end up weighing into like helping you in the next one and the next one, right? I mean, they all sort of seem to snowball. Exactly.
And the cool thing is you don't realize it at this time. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I had a random, when you tweet, you have a random thought. I was eating some food. I was like thinking the simple act of me picking up this piece of chicken with my fork is the accumulation of like everything that's happened in all of history. So that to go what you said, I completely agree. Like all those experiences led me to the point where I'm at right now. So therefore I wouldn't change anything in the past because it's where I'm at right now, whether it be good, bad, ugly, beautiful, who knows?
Yeah. And it's also like kind of gives you hope, right? Because you're like, whether you love where you're at or whether you don't love where you're at, I think it's also something like, if as long as you just keep building and you keep moving forward and you keep walking, you keep just learning, like there's always sort of that next opportunity. There's always the next step, and you never know, where that next step's going to lead you. And to me, so I think maybe that terrifies some people. To me, it's like, man, that gets my blood pumping. I'm like, excited about possibilities and things.
Yeah, no, dude. You hit the nail on the head with the right word. You said learning. That's the name of the game. Just continuously learn, continuously adapt, keep trucking forward. You'll be good. Just know that wherever you're at right now is where you're supposed to be, and everything works out in the end.
Right. No, absolutely. And that, honestly, that sort of leads us into the Web3 conversation. And of course, thinking about SHOPX and what is the type of work that you guys are doing, and just thinking also about just what's the place that you feel like SHOPX has in the overall Web3 market or industry, would be just sort of interesting to hear. So if you could maybe start with just give us a rundown kind of what SHOPX is up to, and then thinking about where that fits into the overall market would be really helpful.
Sure. So I'll give you a quick rundown, and I'm sure after I get the rundown, you'll be able to tell where the fit is. So think of SHOPX like the Apple or Google Web3, meaning we're a suite of technologies for a brand to easily use our app, and then they can start doing Web3 activities. In the long run, we have a great product and roadmap. We're going to have multiple products serving different business needs. But let me give you our live example. Right now, our product that is live is ReserveX. That's a pre-purchase loyalty program for a brand powered by NFTs. So as a brand, you could, powered by eNFTs. And let me make the clarification. NFTs are like Bored Apes, what you know now. eNFTs are NFTs with eCommerce value. So their value comes from the eCommerce benefit side. So as a brand, let's use Nike, for example, or any brand on Shopify. You can download the SHOPX app, and then within 3 minutes, you can deploy a smart contract with no technical help. And then from there, your customers can mint from that smart contract and get your Reserve Pass NFT. It's so simple that my 80-year-old grandma was able to do that.
Okay.
So after you deploy your smart contract, you can add token gating benefits to that. So for example, I'm Nike. I have a limited line release for like this one shoe that's coming out. There's 50 products or 50 inventory. I launch a pass saying, hey, if you want this shoe, you have to buy this pass. You as a customer, you then mint the NFT pass. It sits on your wallet. When you hit the Nike store, if you have the pass, it automatically reads it. Then you can proceed to the checkout as normal. And once you're at the checkout, it's all how the checkout is done normally. So all your retention emails hit. But if I don't have the pass, then I can't make that purchase. So you can do some cool things with this. You can do in real life events, token gating in real life events. You could do price gating. You can, instead of waiting 2 days in the line for Apple, you can simply buy a pass and buy it online.
Yep.
And
yep.
yeah, so,
and because it's an NFT, it obviously are you guys allowing and opening up that secondary market as well? So I can sell it also.
Absolutely. So as Nike, you can claim your collection. As a brand, you can claim your royalties. But you as a user, you can sell it to whoever you want.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is with smaller brands, and I can go over the case study, is if you're part of the original crew, you buy the NFT with a small brand. As the brand value rises, so does the value of your NFT. So that's exactly what we did with our case study, which was the Mag Park.
Yeah. That's insane. That is super cool. I've heard people talking about doing some of this stuff in other venues. I mean, I hear like even Ticketmasters like trying to figure out how to like bring NFTs, or as you just explained to us, which is the first time I've heard that, the eNFT, which makes a ton of sense. This, they're obviously trying to explore how they might add some value, but thinking about like private collections or even like discounted pricing for members and things like that. That makes a ton of sense. And you guys were thinking specifically from like a loyalty program, like this would make sense from that.
Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a suite of technologies. Reserve Pass is our pre-purchase loyalty program. So as a customer, you buy into the brand before a purchase, and we're seeing an 80% conversion rate with that. In our pipeline, we're going to have another product, a post-purchase loyalty program. called LoyaltyX as of now. And after you purchase that product, you can claim NFT, and then they can airdrop discounts and coupons. So we got pre-purchase, we got post-purchase.
Sure.
We have a charity arm too, which is called CharityX.
Yep.
So that's just global frictionless donations. And a very cool thing a brand could do with this is, let's say hypothetically you're a brand, you launch a dual NFT with a charity. So I'm Reebok. I launch a dual NFT with the Red Cross. The Red Cross would then market the NFT to their millions of donor bases as a donation. And then they could have access to a Reebok product. But you as a brand, you get access to all those customers, which you wouldn't have access to before. The charity gets access to a cool way to get new donations in. Right. And the customer gets a product and their normal donation. So it's like a win-win-win.
Right. All the way around. And then there's because it's an NFT, right? Then there's like sort of secondary, third layer, like those things start to can compound, right? I mean, obviously it could burn, right? Once it's redeemed, it could burn, or it could also be used for something in the future, which is pretty wild.
That's completely up to the brand. So, for example, the Mag Park, they launched their pass. They launched 3 tiers of gold, silver, bronze. And their intention with the pass is to continue to add value to their pass holders. So, for example, as a gold tier holder, I get access to all their drops going forward. Yeah. Because I'm part of the community. Yeah. But we're also partnering with like a TV show. And what their plan was to launch a pass specifically for an episode. So it was going to be like, you buy a pass, you're a fan of the show, you get a makeup kit specifically for episode 1. You do your makeup with that episode, you put it on, and then that pass is done. So again, totally up to the brand what they want to do. The brand knows best.
Yeah. And so the platform that you guys are building obviously has you're just continuously adding tools to it for a brand to be able to access and leverage sort of. I mean, you guys are kind of unlocking the utility of NFT. That's what it sounds like to me. Like you guys have moved beyond the Bored Ape JPEG phase and are really starting to explore the utility. How have you guys been thinking about that?
Oh, that's in our minds constantly. And honestly, a big opportunity for us is like, let's say when you're talking to a corporate boardroom, and that's why we're making the differentiation between NFT and eNFT. So if you're talking to someone who doesn't know anything about NFTs, you just mentioned NFT and they're like, oh, aren't 99% of those rug pulls? Yeah. Well, then you're just like, yeah, but do I need a 500K monkey? No, but these are different. There's eCommerce utility behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's been the struggle. So since 2010, basically, I've been involved in the crypto space, and for years it was all this FUD about just Bitcoin's just a crime coin. It's only used for this or that or Silk Road or this. I mean, all this negative stuff. It's the same playbook when it comes to like NFTs. Suddenly NFTs start becoming available. People start, really during the hype, like people were like going crazy with them. And it's all that negative. But like has been true all along is the tech. It's not the application in those early phases. It's the app. It's the technology that underlies it. That's the beautiful thing. And man, it's exciting to hear how you guys are unlocking some of those pieces. I mean, you've mentioned that perhaps you have a case study, or you guys have some things, have seen some of these already kind of in action. What are some of the kind of highlights from that?
Oh, dude, I love this case study. So it was a local brand in Los Angeles called the Magnolia Park. They're a hypewear brand. So what they did is they launched their Pink Mocha Pass. They minted out 125 passes within less than 24 hours. And then over 50% of those passes were minted by people completely brand new to crypto. So the guy made 93.7 ETH in less than 24 hours without shipping out a single product, and is now sitting on a conversion rate of 80% because they bought into his product before, which is insane. Right. So that's case study 1. We had another local brand. It's a famous dog. We all love Huskies. So he's a famous dog on Instagram. He doesn't have his store yet. Or he hasn't launched a store, so he had a base Shopify store. He created a pass prior to the release of his store, launched the pass, and that's a quick way he was able to crowdfund some ETH and prove his concept to get the ball rolling. And now his OG members have their pass.
Yeah, that's crazy. So actually saying kind of talking about it from that perspective takes your mind to sort of like that Kickstarter place.
Yeah.
It seems like, I mean, it's obviously a multi-billion dollar industry in itself, just like that like pre-launch hype build, funding, ahead of time, stuff like that. I mean, that's got to be something you guys it seems like a natural fit, right?
No, the cool thing is, it was just kind of go with the flow type thing. It's like we did the Mag Park, we did that launch, and then Husky brand wanted to do a launch, and that's just how it happened. We're like, oh, that's another great use case. Yeah. The next brand that's launching is going to be a dual influencer pass. So that's going to be like influencers selling on behalf of a brand. They get a dual pass. The charity thing just kind of came around too. So everything's just kind of like working in place. People are discovering their own uses, and then we're just there to help them in any way we can.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. As like as a true platform, you guys are letting users create, letting brands create these diverse experiences. So will you talk to me just a little bit more about the eNFT classification? It's interesting because is it? I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm just trying to understand. Is it really like trying to, from an almost marketing perspective, like differentiate from the NFT? Like, is it more kind of like marketing, which in a boardroom, like you explained, totally makes sense. Or is it like, is there an actual like structural or technical difference?
Honestly, I think it's factual marketing.
Yeah.
So it's built in the smart contract where the brand can add e-commerce benefits to that. But after the NFT is minted, it's simply a NFT.
Yeah. But I think I think it's really, I mean, it probably leads kind of into your, growth mindset and background. Is like sometimes the language that you have to use is necessary for the audience that you're speaking to.
Yeah, words are spells.
Yeah, and like I think that coming to it from that perspective is interesting because it does change your initial impact of hearing about it. Like it changes the dynamic of it and allows you to have an open mind to receive what you're talking about.
And I think that's very important for us considering our brands. So we're a tool for a brand to connect with their customers via eNFT. Most of these customers will be their first experience with the eNFT. So it's a very real possibility that the first time they use NFT, they're going to use an eNFT versus a NFT. And that's important to me because my overall goal in life is, I come from a Bitcoin maxi background, by the way.
Yeah.
But my overall goal in life is to have a nice, peaceful life. I can't do that when the money's fucked up. The best way to unfuck the money is to get as many people into crypto as possible. My personal way to do that is through SHOPX. So, for example, we have enterprise brands lined up, but we sign with, like, for example, it's not Nike, but let's say Nike, for example. They launch NFT, 1 million new minters happen. They get this thing that gives them value. They don't even know what an NFT is, but then they go down the rabbit hole themselves. And then, bam, we got more crypto people.
Yeah. What do you think is stopping today the sort of the mass adoption?
Oh, I think we both know the usability of crypto networks.
Yeah.
Like our personal biggest roadblock was getting people on board. Because to mint our NFT, obviously we have to use MetaMask or Coinbase Wallet or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're working around that. But the biggest challenge for us in our first launch was they got the MetaMask. Like, oh, great. What's this? How do I buy ETH? Oh, go to Coinbase. Oh, what do you mean there's a week delay? How do I send this?
Right.
I'm just like, well, that's just crypto for you.
Right. But yeah, it's like immediate settlements, but you have to wait a week.
Yeah. So our way around that is we're partnering with a company called CrossMint. Just so you have your credit card, you can just pay instantly, and then all you have to do is have a MetaMask and take ownership of your NFT.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, this obviously, I think this is probably outside of like the like anti-money laundering and like sanction software, to me, the next biggest growth category in crypto generally at this phase is the onboarding piece. Like, everyone's trying to figure that out.
I think we're at the bottom of the bell curve. So I think in 5 years' time, Web3 will be boring to everyone. Everyone will be using Web3 without even knowing they're using it. And that's how we're there. Yeah. But right now we're entering the phase where your viewers can't see this, but we're entering the phase for massive education to happen, and we're just starting that. So that's where I feel companies like SHOPX and just people to help educate the masses through having skin in the game is the best way to do it.
Totally. Right. We've made it through the hype phase of like Web3, crypto, everyone's screaming, going nuts, buying whatever they could buy. And that's obviously that hype is, the air is let out of the balloon. And go ahead.
And now they're just like, I know what NFT is. Does it do anything? And we're just like, yes, see for yourself.
Right. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this, is to be able to unlock the true potential of this technology. And man, I want to just credit you guys. I think the perspective of allowing users to create instead of trying to force them into channels is really, really smart. And I'm sure you guys are seeing some really cool ideas, like people really trying to push the boundaries.
Oh, dude. And this is just the beginning of it, because right now we're in our closed launch. We just launched with 2 brands because we're pushing out the tech to A, allow credit card minting, and B, allow a split payout between the contract. So when a brand creates a smart contract, you can program multiple wallets to get the ETH as people are minting.
Yeah.
And the reason behind that is so like an agency who already works with brands can just do everything for the brand.
Right.
But so once that happens, we're going to open the floodgates in terms of brands. And then each brand is going to have different use cases that work for different brands, as we're already seeing.
Yeah.
And then it's our job just to channel that or assist with that.
How different do you think is like the B2B play in Web3 from Web2? Like do you see sort of like differences in the way that you guys are thinking about and approaching? Let me just give you kind of a lead of kind of how I'm thinking about it. It seems to me, I mean, obviously you guys are a B2B platform. You're even thinking about how to incorporate, like you were just saying, agencies or like you're really thinking about it from a brand and business's perspective. But just by its very nature, you're also forced to think about the consumer. Whereas in Web2, it doesn't seem like a lot of B2B businesses in their sale and process are really thinking about consumers. They're really thinking about how do they sell their platform, if that makes sense. Like it feels to me like you guys are going beyond that and really thinking about the consumer experience.
Of course, the consumer is the most important part. If the consumers don't want to use our service, it's useless. Yeah.
So how do you scale from a growth perspective? Like how are you guys thinking about growth from that angle?
We have to empower the brands to properly educate their consumers to use the technology to the benefit of both the brand and consumer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are some ways that you guys are doing that? I mean, have you guys entered sort of into growth mode, or are you guys still like, I mean, I know you just said you guys just had a small release. What stage are you guys at in that?
We're about to enter into growth mode. So right now we presently have 2 brands who just minted. We shut down temporarily the ReserveX just to harden the code up, all that stuff. And on our wait list, we have over 178 brands to use. Wow. So that we're like letting in them slowly to make sure everything works, and then telling other brands. And we're going to create a whole system in terms of like customer support, help documents, just to support the brands. And that's just for one product too. Right.
Yeah, it's just on one piece of the platform, right?
Yeah.
How long has SHOPX been in development? I mean, how long have you guys been ruminating and thinking about this stuff?
Since 2016. That's cool. We actually minted our first eNFT in 2018. Cyrus, the CEO, did that. But yeah, there's I have to send you the Rospin transaction hash to prove it.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, that's wicked cool.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, did you guys, the founders, they all meet in school and work together and stuff, or is it like kind of been over time piecing a team together?
Over time, we came together. I personally found them. I found Cyrus and TJ because when I was bankruptcy consulting, I not rage quit, but I was just like, as a consultant, I had free time because I was billing hours. But at that point, I was just reading, going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, podcasting the whole day.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got my bonus, I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. Yeah. And then I started going to crypto meetups, and that's actually how I connected with them.
Okay, nice. Yeah, no, that's so cool. It's like the story of how that's supposed to happen, but doesn't often.
yeah, it's true.
So that's really cool. So tell me just sort of briefly, where do you see SHOPX going? I mean, where do you think kind of your vision, like your 5-year vision? Like, what does ShopX look like for you?
I think Apple, but Web3. Different products, different solutions for different brands at all levels.
Yeah. And is it, I mean, do you see this as a, I mean, I know what you're going to say, but I got to ask the question anyways. But when you're viewing that, are you thinking globally? Are you guys thinking, about specific markets? How do you sort of think about that?
Right now, we're targeting niche markets just because that makes the most sense with our product. But in the long run, it's going to be global.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like wherever a brand sells, you want to be a part of that, process.
We want the brand to want to be part of the process. And if they want, it's on them and they can join.
Good. Yeah. No, that's a great distinction. That's a really great distinction.
Yeah, we're not trying to force anyone.
Yeah. But you're also not trying to squeeze yourself into those plays.
Correct.
Right. The platform, the technology will be invited because it starts to solve problems and add value on both sides.
So very soon, brands are going to start hearing about it organically. Then they're simply going to go onto Shopify, download the app themselves, and then start deploying themselves.
Yeah.
And that's when the ball really gets rolling. Yeah. And then once a brand's in, they deploy the first smart contract. Like I said, it's honestly super easy. There's a video on YouTube. But once they deploy one, they're kind of incentivized to deploy more because why wouldn't you?
Right. Just keeps going.
Yeah.
So is the app available now and stores can download now? Or you're taking like a sign-up sheet? That's what you said, right?
Right now, we're in an approval process, but the app is available on the Shopify App Store. Cool. We are presently building out I'm not going to say it because of NDA reasons, but we're presently building out with 2 of the other 4 big e-commerce platforms. So Shopify, 2 others. Sure. That's being built. That should be done around Q1. And each platform wants a different thing. Like, for example, one may want a cut of each individual mint. One may just want marketing. Yeah. So by Q1, we should have 3 out of the 4. Wow. And that just help with exponential growth.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Hey man, look, we're coming up on our time, and this has been really so cool and interesting to talk about. Also, really great whenever we can just connect. Also, sort of like on a philosophy and thinking about kind of bigger things too. So I really appreciate you. Thank you again so much for taking the time. And what's a good way for my listeners, if they want to reach out, to connect with you or interact with your brand?
The best way, and I'll give you the links up in the description, but I would recommend going to shopx.co, SHOPX.co. Our Twitter and Instagram handles are ShopX Labs, but you're always welcome to reach out to me personally through email, and it's eric@shopx.co.
Awesome. Eric, again, thank you so much. This has been great. Eric McHugh is the co-founder and chief growth officer of SHOPX, an exciting new Web3 e-commerce play. I think only good things could come here. So we're super excited for you, Eric, and the team. Please keep us up to date on how things progress. And as always, if there's anything that we can do at Lexicon Crypto for you guys, we'd love to play even a small part.